Last time on Just Create, we built a factory to generate all the tuff we need for our train lines, welcomed a new friend to the server by punching them a few times, and watched Foxy explode.
Okay.
Foxy, no! Today, we tackle a project that we've been building up to for weeks. A massive railway line that's going to connect to the spawn over here, all the way down to our industrial island here, but we're also going to go via this island here, because this is where we're going to be building our main base. So we need to build a gigantic rail, which is probably going to involve quite a lot of bridges, so I don't know if we'll get the whole thing completed today, but we're going to try our best. And although we do have all the tuff we need, thanks to the factory we've built, and we built our little tester tunnel at the end of last episode, we don't have any rail. So that's going to be our first task, get lots and lots of rail made up. But luckily, Stam has a machine for just that. So if I grab a whole bunch of stone and a whole bunch of iron, then we can make a whole load of track. But this is going to take a while. 1 cup of tea later, we've got over 2 shulker boxes of track, which means we should have plenty to start planning our routes. Now, for the route planning, the first bit shouldn't be too bad because we've already dug out a straight line. We can see daylight at the end there. That's the other side of the mountain. And I've also moved this track over here because I do want to have a central line dividing the 2 sides of the track. But this one's also cut through to the other side of the mountain. But first up, let's just get these tracks down. So that's the first 2 bits of track all installed. That goes right the way through to the other side of the mountain, which basically brings us out right here. And then, yeah, we're going to need to figure out a route. So probably sort of across here, around the edge of this mountain. And then I guess we're going to have to cut across here. Maybe follow the mountains round onto this side. Get some bridges in to loop round. It's going to be quite a long journey. I mean, we could put in a giant bridge across here, but I don't really like the idea of doing that. From there to there, after all, is a good 300 blocks. And that just feels a bit too big for a bridge. So we're going to play it safe and just skirt around the edge of these mountains here. And to be honest, I should probably uncover this and see what's going on over this side. And in fact, we are going to go on a small exploration because from what I gather, Chosen's got a bit of a rail line in now as well as Stam's. And I just want to have a look at how they've designed them and essentially just see how they've handled the terrain. But I suppose if this is anything to go by, I have a feeling Chosen may have bulldozed a whole bunch of terrain. Let's go and have a look. All right, okay, so Chosen's got a huge retaining wall and he's sort of going around the edge of the mountains. Oh, I like that. And this is cool, nicely carved away. Okay, and then he's got a flattened bit here, which goes over there. Okay, so with the actual difficult bit of the terrain here, instead of bridging straight across, he's actually used the mountain and gradually stepped it up as he's gone round to get to the height where he needs to be. And I'll be honest, that actually looks very cool. I like that. Good job, Chosen. Let's go see what Stam's done. So he's got this tunnel here, which he hasn't decorated yet, but this is what he borrowed Drillbert for. Left it full of cobble and derailed it. Oh, hello. What's going on over here? Wow, okay, so he had quite the terrain height change. He's just done a big corkscrew. That's very cool. I need to have a proper look at this. Okay. That's awesome. I like that. And it looks like he's built up some terrain on the edge here as well. Now, we have seen a lot of this terrain before. It doesn't look like he's dealt with everything as yet, but I know he has some bridges. Bridges with lodestones. He was very keen on pointing out the lodestones. But these are cool. And I have a feeling we're going to need quite a lot of bridges to get to where we're going. But besides that bit at the start with the spiral, it doesn't seem like he's had to deal with too many mountains. It's a very flat railroad. I do like the long sweeping curves though. That's very realistic. And then we've got another bridge here, which is a very cool looking bridge. I like this. But yeah, it doesn't look like he's had to deal with any mountainous terrain though, other than that start bit. But on looking at the 2 existing rail lines, I do quite like the way Chosen has skirted the edge of that mountain. So that's where our rail comes out on the mountainside over there. And I think we do need to come across over to this side. I don't think we want to be skirting the edge of that mountain because then we've just got a giant lake. So if we were to come across this way and then go along the edge here, we can sort of work our way down and round over to here. Then we're going to have a bridge around here somewhere. We could come across to this bit here. Yeah, I think a big bridge across there over to that side could work nicely. And then once we're over here, we could just go around the back of the village. Let's just uncover all the land over here and see what we're dealing with. I mean, there's a massive ice lake there. Then it's just a whole lot of open ocean. Whereas what we want to do is get onto this island over here. This is where we're going to be building our big storage warehouse, train depot type area. And then just over there is our industrial island. So we can go along this coastline here with the rail. That's absolutely fine. I think maybe cutting through this valley this way. You have an ice bridge over to here. Go around this side. Then go around the back of this village and just loop back round. Nice bridge across there. Okay, cool. I think that's the route we're going to need to take. But I've got a whole lot of planning to do to make this work. Before we get to any of that planning, however, I really want to use Drillbert and get these tunnels in. Going to make it much easier getting from one side of the mountain to the other. We've still got quite a lot of tuff in here. We've also got the coarse dirt, which I do need to actually hook up again. But I think I'm going to grab a bit more tuff, absolutely pack these barrels, and then get to building. So, taking Drillbert for a spin and planning our rail all the way to the base. Looks like I've got a busy afternoon ahead of me. Well, thanks to Drillbert, that wasn't too painful. We now have two extremely long tunnels that go all the way through our mountain, but now I need to actually plan the rail on the other side. This could take a while. Well, it's 8 hours later and I'm driving my train. I'm still driving my train, but I'm almost there. I can see my factory. So I've been slowly going mad. It's now the middle of the next day and I'm still laying rail and trying to make it look at least a little bit nicer to begin with. But the good news is we have made it over to where our factory is, and it looks like we're about to pave over Foxy's body from last episode. Sorry, buddy. Oh, we're not paving over it at all. We're just launching it in front of us. But anyway, let me hop out of the train here for a second and I'll show you what we've got. Lots and lots of rails. So we'll follow this route later, but this is where it comes in from out in the wilderness. And what we're going to do here is have the rail come all the way across the front here. It's going to go at a diagonal in this direction. Looks like it might be about to take out that pillar, but we'll work that out later. And then over here, it needs to exit my base over in this direction, although technically this is still part of my base. In fact, this might be a really good area to put a train station. But either way, after that, it needs to head off in this direction. And I believe Throwlash is basing over on that island there somewhere. It might even be that very island there. So what I've also done here, just on the left side track, I just wanted a single track that runs around the back here. But this will loop all the way round and down and back over to our main line over there. I don't know if that's going to stay there. It's pretty ugly at the moment. I mean, I might move it, so I'm not going to pave this line in properly just yet. But then I do need a turning point somewhere, and yeah, I don't really see where else I can put one around here. But mostly, I'm just happy we actually have a connection for now. And if we look at the big map here, we can see the route we've taken. So our rail goes all the way back this way, then it goes down a slope to here, and then it goes back up a slope there. There's another bridge and another bridge. And then we've got the sort of S-bendy bit. We've got a great big bridge there. And then this loops back round and into the tunnel. So yeah, quite a long line. We've got lots that we need to make look nice, which I imagine is something we're going to be doing on streams for the next month or so. Certainly won't be getting it all done in this video. But for now, I just need to run this train round a little bit more. Just cover the last few bits of track around here. In fact, I don't think I need the drills on at the moment. So let's turn those off just so we don't destroy this pole. But once I've got this last bit of foundation laid, I think I'm going to need to take a break from this. In fact, it appears we've run out of coarse dirt. We don't seem to be laying that anymore. So I'm going to take that as a sign. I'm just going to get this bit of rail back onto the island, and then we're going to sort out something else I need to do. In fact, it looks like I've just run out of tuff as well. So yep, this definitely feels like a good time to take a break from laying this rail, because I've got a little problem I need to solve, and that is a problem with power. Or in fact, more specifically, power tokens. Because basically I've been using paper ones so far. We made up loads of them. We stole Stam's sugarcane to do it. Don't tell him. But then Foxy started turning them into rockets and sandpaper and so on. And that's because the storage system we use here doesn't differentiate between paper and power tokens. So I need to swap out the power tokens for something that's a little bit, well, less craftable. It doesn't matter if it can be crafted into stuff. It just needs to be something you're not crafting all the time, like rockets. So a couple of episodes ago, I asked you what you thought and what you think we should use, and the overwhelming response was to use sunflowers. I guess probably because they look a little bit like coins, and they can only be crafted into yellow dye, which is a very minor thing. So it's a lot less likely that they're going to get turned into things they're not supposed to be. The problem is, I don't have a sunflower yet. But if I can get myself a sunflower, we can make ourselves a very, very efficient little farm to get lots of sunflowers very, very quickly. Then we can rename them and redistribute those as the new power tokens. Which does mean the old power tokens are going to become null and void. Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? Sounds like something an evil power company would do, just change the currency and not trade in the old ones. I mean, I could trade in the old ones, and in fact, I might put a process in to be able to do that, but it's going to be a very long-winded, time-consuming process that no one will be bothered to do. At least that's my current thinking, but I need to get myself a sunflower, which means I need to find one, really. I guess we need a sunflower biome. I think it's called a sunflower plains or something like that, but we also have a chance to find them in villages and things like that, so I think it will be sensible to check, first off, the village that we actually have at spawn. There might just be a sunflower there. I might even already have one in storage, to be honest. I have no idea. Nope, I definitely don't have one in my storage. Let the search begin. Well, it also doesn't appear there's one available in the village at all. I'm coming across some 2 tall flowers, but not the ones we want. I guess that means I need to go further afield. Oh well, off we go. Nope, 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 nope. I'm beginning to think I was wrong about them actually spawning up in villages. Could have sworn that was the thing. But I've had no luck finding a sunflower plains either, and I have flown very, very far. In fact, most of it was over ocean. Look at the size of that ocean. But I'm hoping if I continue this search, I will eventually find what I'm after. Who knew getting a sunflower would be so difficult and time-consuming? Oh, hello. Firefly bushes. Oh, yeah. We made some updates to the pack. So by the time this video comes out, the pack update should have already been released along with the server pack, but we have made a few additions, which I'll be honest, I completely forgot about until I just ran across these. So we have added a vanilla backport mod, which basically gives us access to firefly bushes. Can we? Yep, we can just break them and collect them. Excellent. But it also means we should be able to get our hands on pale wood because, well, this world's in 1.21.1 and pale wood wasn't added until 1.21.4 or something like that. I don't really know what version. But either way, it wasn't in this version when we first generated the world. So yeah, we have added it into the pack, which is wonderful. But we've also added Create Enchantment Industries, because that way we have access to liquid XP, and it means we can make proper mob farms. Now, Enchantment Industries actually works a bit differently to how it used to, so I've not really experimented with it yet. There's lots of new things in it as well. But to get it to work, we also had to add a mod called Dragons Plus, or Dragon Plus, something like that, which adds loads of new recipes and loads of things we considered were a little bit too OP. So we disabled every single one of those. So it should just be Create Enchantment Industries. We've also added straw statues and the armor posers mod just so we can have a little bit more control over what things look like and just make cool things, really, let's be honest. We still feel like they're fairly vanilla. And lastly, because we couldn't get immersive paintings, we have added camera mod, which allows us to once again just import images and display them on the server. So that means I can get my train station posters up, which we may well do later today, but it also means we can have custom business signs and things like that. So just a couple of minor things that have been added. It is still Just Create, but now it's Just Create with Create Enchantment Industries as well. It's fine, it's fine. And one day, eventually, we do still hope to be able to add Steam and Rails, but that looks like that's a long way off. But anyway, that was a nice surprise. The firefly bushes, completely forgot about those. Still need a sunflower, though. Although now I've remembered we've added it, I'm going to keep an eye out for pale wood as well, but you can tell I'm definitely loading new chunks here. It's very slow. And I've just stumbled into a dark oak forest here, which I think is where pale forests potentially spawn, maybe? Aren't they, like, similar or related? Don't they spawn near each other? Well, let's have a proper scout around this area as it gradually loads in, slowly, slowly. Sadly, that looks like a no. This is just dark oak, this one. Oh well, onwards. Oh, look, pale wood. Yes. Excellent. Let's grab some of this and get some saplings. Oh, wait a minute. Dark. Don't I have to be scared of creepy things? Aren't there creepy things that can come out? Doesn't look like we've got any creepy things. We might be okay. Just grab a bit of everything, really, don't we? We need some of this moss as well. Some of the carpets. Yep, we'll take some of them. Really wish I'd brought a bed with me, though. Don't like being here at night. So another new thing that should be around here somewhere is... Oh, there's creepers. Torch flowers. But I don't actually see any of those. And I don't know if they spawn in the Pale Forest or if they're supposed to spawn somewhere else. I honestly can't remember. But I certainly don't see any of them around, sadly. Got a bunch of saplings and other bits though, so I'm happy with that. Let's continue our journey. Stam just joined. I asked him if he had any sunflowers, and then right round the corner, look at this. And relax. It took about 45 minutes and we've flown over 12,000 blocks and got through a good few stacks of rockets. But we've managed to get some sunflowers, which is good because that means we can change our energy tokens. But I'm going to need a lot more than the 19 I currently have, which means I need to make a farm for them. But to make that farm run, I'm going to need lots and lots of bones. So I guess I'm going to spend some time in the mob farm down here because this guy's always empty of bones. Oh, 51. That's a lot more than usual. There's usually nothing whatsoever. But we're going to need a whole lot more than just 51. So let's just stand here and take out some mobs. Right, that should do it for now. And we've also got loads of levels, so we'll be able to rename them as well, which is good. Now, I could just stand there and manually bone mill these things, but there's a quicker way. I just need to build myself a bunch of dispensers. Alrighty, so I think what I'll do is make use of a bit of the space up here, and we'll just stick something in the corner over this side. I'll start by putting a chest in the floor with a chute on top. And my first question is, can I plant sunflowers on top of mud? I can. Excellent. So that means if I drop a sunflower on there... Nope, it's not getting pulled through. Not to worry, we can rectify that. We're just going to have to do things a little bit differently. So I just need a few more bits from you, Frank. So if we make a hopper and a minecart, turn that into a hopper minecart, then what I can do is put rail in like that, the minecart on top, and if I push that into there, get that blocked in around the back and on the sides here. Now when anything lands on there, yep, it's going to go straight through and not into the chest. And that's probably because I put a chute there instead of a hopper. Now the downside to this is that hoppers are basically just not as quick. The things will be a little bit slower to get into the chest down below, but it'll be fine. Let's just stick a hopper there, get the minecart back in, and I think I'll just use some panels on the side just so it's not quite as wide. Okay, so that's that bit done. Now what we want is a bunch of dispensers. Sadly, I didn't have much string on me, so I can only do 4 dispensers for now, but that's fine. That'll be enough to get us started and hopefully get us plenty of sunflowers. Let's put you back in there. Block up the fronts. Block up these bits here as well. All right, so now I just need to do a little bit of redstone, which I didn't bring with me. Good job, Beardy. Let's put the sticky piston in the floor. An observer that way and an observer that way. And then with a lever here, we can just turn that on and off. Excellent. So that's going to put a redstone pulse into this block here. So if we were to do that, and that's going to charge those 3. That'll get the top one. And that'll get the side one. That should mean that when we turn that on, all of them are going to start firing, which it appears they are. Let's get them loaded up with bone meal and see how we got on. And there we go. They are all loaded up. So we should start getting lots and lots of sunflowers. Excellent. And while that's making sunflowers, I'm just going to go tidy up my inventory a bit. Well, my inventory was cleared out, and I'll tell you what, it's much quicker just to stand here and collect them as they get made instead of waiting for the hopper to go through, because that takes forever. It's just a bit slow. Right, well, I'd say that should be enough to get us started. But it's time to use up all these levels and get these named, I think. Power tokens have been renamed. I just need to swap out and edit the machines now so that they actually accept the new tokens. So, oh, poor eggs. You're not going to need those anymore. But I am going to be nice and give everyone a stack of these ones just to begin with. It's a shame eggs might lose a few stacks of power, but I did tell them not to bulk buy anything. So, yep, not my fault. So let's just set these as well to now accept power tokens. And I'll come back down and leave a little book just telling them what's going on as well, or maybe a clipboard or something, I don't know. But we'll come back and do that in a moment. For now, how do we get to Foxy's workshop? I wonder, does his lift still work? Will that just go straight through the boat? Oh, I went straight through the lift. That was unexpected. No, the elevator doesn't seem to work at all. Is this a way in? Looks like it might be. But it's very dark in here. Nope, this is not a way in. Aha, this looks like a way in. Success, we're in. Right, let's sort out Foxy's one now. We'll just do the same thing as last time. Change these 2. We'll give him a little stack of power tokens in there because it looks like he's not actually running his machine at the moment. So I am going to quickly run a test just to make sure. Yep, the new power tokens work. Excellent. Now we just need to do the same over here for Chosen. And, oh, Chosen. That is unfortunate. Look how many power tokens you've got. But I reckon if anyone has any complaints, I'll just direct them towards Foxy No-Tail because, well, I wouldn't have had to change them if he didn't keep making them into rockets. Right then, Jimmy, let's get you set up to sell the new tokens. We'll do the same for Timmy over here. Everything has now been set up. Let's just leave a little note for them so they know what's going on. And this just says, dear valued customer, it has been brought to our attention that power tokens were being misused and crafted into rockets, sandpaper and more, which is a gross misuse of power company property. As such, all paper power tokens are now void. Shiny new power tokens have been deployed network-wide, offering exactly what you had before, but now with new tokens that cannot be turned into rockets. You've been supplied with 2.5 days power to offset any inconvenience this may cause, courtesy of your local friendly power company. Warmest regards, Beardy Power Co. We bring the stress to you. That should clear things up just nicely. I'm sure no one's going to have any problems with that. Let's leave one for Foxy. And in fact, Foxy also needs an invoice. So Foxy's invoice is destruction of power company property because, well, it doesn't exist anymore where I installed it. There's an emergency call-out fee, of course, when I had to come fix everything, and the meter installation itself. So the total payable is 45 diamonds. Although, what we should probably do is turn that into a subtotal. Then you need Beardy added tax, of course, which actually brings the total to 50 diamonds. The payment is due immediately. Let's put that on top of his box. He won't miss that. And there's a note for Chosen, just to let him know what's going on. Excellent. Well, that was a nice distraction from our rail. We've managed to upgrade our power system. I mean, I say upgrade, it depends how you want to look at it. But we also found some pale wood and firefly bushes, which I'm not going to do anything with now, but they're definitely going to come in handy in future. So I guess it's time for a nap, and then we'll get back to sorting out the train track. All right, so train line. What we need to do is sort out the landscape around here. Of course, at the other end, we do still need to add a lot more tough and coarse dirt, but I'm not too concerned with that right now. I mean, this rail line is about 3,000 blocks long in total, and eventually we do want to landscape the whole thing. But I think we can make our lives a little bit easier by using the train again to fill in some of the terrain down below, and we'll just gradually work our way that way. I mean, there's lots of places where we're going to need bridges, so that's all going to be left empty for now. But our train is absolutely loaded up with cobblestone. So I think what I'm going to do is just fill in the gaps below the tracks, just basically directly below, not even in a slope, with cobble, and then that will give us a bit more of a solid form to work with when it comes to actually making things look cool. If we want to fill up the tracks, we're going to need to make a couple of tweaks to this machine we've got here. Not in the layout, just in what blocks it's placing. So what I'm going to do is set this one to cobble, and we want to sell this to straight fill below. We'll do the same for this one, and the same for this one here. And that should be all we need to do. Let's get our train back together. And because there's so many trains in our station, we can't actually do the loop-de-loop at the moment. So let's just turn it around manually and get to the first point where we need to start filling, which I think is going to be pretty much at this tunnel exit here. Let's jump out and have a little look. In fact, the cliff is already quite close to the top there, so we're not going to do anything here. I do want to put in a bridge on this side, so we can skip over this first bit, which is good. And once again, on this side, we'll have all the bridge, so we'll just leave that as it is so we can build that up. But it looks like we need to start filling in from that space there. Let's roll forward a little bit. Let's turn these on. And they should leave what we've already got laid, but then just fill in the empty spaces below, which it appears is what it's doing. Let's just double check. Yep, exactly that. Perfect. And then what we can do is build up our sort of cliffside around the edge here. But by filling it in and making it solid down below, it means we're not going to have to worry about lighting things up in there. We're not going to have to worry about mobs too much, and it gives us a much better view of the overall shape of the track. But I guess it's back to riding the train for a while for me. All right, I think I've got all the cobble in everywhere that it needs to be. But now what I need to do is decide how I'm going to make this look a little bit better because, well, these cobblestone walls are absolutely...
Beardstone.
Oh no, this can't be good.
I've got a problem.
Yep.
See, I was coming to see you, but because it was so far away, I thought I'd take some transportation. And
right.
It might be a bit stuck in your mountain.
Transportation stuck in my... How do you... What does that even mean? What's that? The mountain's just a big tunnel with a train track.
Yes, yes. Well, you didn't do your tunnels big enough, Mr. Beardstone.
What do you mean I didn't do the tunnels? What?
Come and have
What kind of transportation are you talking about?
Well, my transportation, obviously.
You don't have any
I do.
No, not the... Foxy.
Yes?
Are you talking about your boat? This is just a bogey with some glass on it, Foxy.
Yeah, well, if you go into free cam, Mr. Beardstone.
Yep. There's a... Foxy, what in the world? So, basically, it's stuck because your train controls are at the top, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what you can do about this.
think you need to make your tunnel bigger, Mr. Beardstone. It's
No,
clearly
this is
not suitable for all of the trains on the server. This seems like it definitely a huge problem.
No, it's not suitable for the boats. It's definitely suitable for the trains. Yeah, you're just gonna have to do that. You're just gonna have to wrench it all the way back.
Yeah, but it'd take forever because you're only allowed to move it a bit.
Yep.
Oh, we can go quite far. We'll get it all the way through, and then I can come meet up with your boat, Mr. Beardstone. That'd be nice.
I don't have a boat.
But your train.
I have a train. It's not a. Oh.
It's like a boat. Train. Very similar.
This is not what I was expecting to walk into today.
Just gonna be a minute, Mr. Beardstone.
Yeah. Okay. You carry on, sir. I'm gonna go have a nap.
Well, if you'd made your tunnels bigger, I could give you a lift home, Mr. Beardstone.
I would not make my tunnel. No one is going to make a tunnel big enough to fit this boat through. That's a ridiculous idea.
They might do. I asked really nicely. I mean, I just feel like I've been singled out, to be honest with you.
That's because we've all made trains. You've made a boat.
I'll let you drive your train on my boat track.
No, because then I'll drown.
Yeah,
because mine's a train, not a boat.
Yeah, but if you put your contraption controls in an appropriate place, you wouldn't drown, would you?
They are in an appropriate place. They're at the front of my train, so I can see where I'm going.
Oh.
Because it's a train.
Oh, so
not a boat.
Oh,
there it is. There's your boat.
There we go. Excellent. Don't worry, Mr. Beardstone. I left the drills off because I could have made a tunnel, but I decided that would be a bad idea because I didn't think you'd like it.
No, I wouldn't like that, no. This is not what I built this track for, Foxy.
I think it is.
This is all very strange, Foxy.
Strange?
Yes. Yes, Foxy. This is a very strange encounter. I'm going to go for a nap. Just sleep it off and see if it's all a dream. Some kind of weird fever dream. Nope, the boat's still there.
Can you help me get my train back to spawn, Miss Beardstone?
I don't think anyone can help you, Foxy. I think it's too late. I mean, to be honest with you, all I can do is watch you wrench it all the way back through the tunnel again, to be honest. I don't know if there's any other way for you to actually get this back to where it needs to be.
Best get going then, otherwise I'm going to be here all day, aren't I?
Yes, I'm going to remove myself from this before you drive it into the mountain. Otherwise, I'm going to suffocate. I can't get down your ladder, Foxy.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky. I should have put stairs in.
I can't get down the ladder. I can't get down the ladder, right. Foxy. No, I'm going to suffocate in the mountain if you don't let me off before you go into the mountain, Foxy.
No, it just pops you out. It's fine, don't worry.
No, this is not fine.
Honestly,
I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Let me out. I can't go down the ladder. Please, Foxy, don't do this to me.
It's all right. I just popped out. I'm sure she'll do the same.
No, I don't want to die. I've got 30 levels. I mean, I don't have anything to do with 30 levels, but I've got 30 levels. I don't. Oh, wait a sec. I might pop out the water. I popped out. I'm free.
Oh.
Well, I don't even know what to say about that. Foxy's a strange one, isn't he? But anyway, what was I saying? Yes, these bits here. I want to not leave them as cobble, obviously. This was just to fill in the underside, and I can see the shape, so you can see where the bridge is going to go across this bit, for example. But I don't want to leave this like this. And I also don't want to be doing the same thing everywhere. So here, for example, I'm probably going to put in more of a retaining wall. I mean, to be honest, I'm probably going to connect up the landscape, do a bit of a cliff here, make this bit all nice, and just put a retaining wall on the other side, so around here. And then we'll have a big bridge through here, and this bit over here, more likely it's going to be a retaining wall again, sort of thing. But some of the bits I do need to make look natural as well. For example, those bits up the top there, I'm just going to sort of build that into the cliffside, make it look nice. So lots of variation and lots of variety with the things we're going to be doing over here. But we're not going to do any of that right now. This is going to be an absolutely massive project. It's going to take me many tens of hours to complete it. So I think it's something we're going to focus on stream, where we stream over on Twitch. And if you can't make the live streams, you can check out the second channel as well, where I will be uploading all the VODs. So if you do want to see this progress bit by bit, that'll be the way to do it. Other than that, I will of course periodically update in videos how it's going, and we do still need to make a whole load of bridges, and we'll do videos for those for sure. But the general terraforming, that'll be a stream thing. And I've run out of rockets. I'm stuck on a tree. Maybe I can run across the track and get my train back. Because before we wrap up the episode, there's still something else we need to do. And that is to play around with another one of the new mods we've added, the camera mod. So the camera mod adds 3 new items: the camera, the album, which I guess is where you store all your pictures, and an image frame. So making a camera, that should be fairly straightforward. And the image frames, strangely, they're not going to be as straightforward. I don't have any string, but there are still a whole bunch of sheep over there, so we can definitely get some. Let's quickly make what we need, and then we'll have a little mess around with it. So that's how we make our camera. Let's have a little look at this. Oh, that's cool. literally a camera. I mean, I don't know what else I expected. Zoom levels. How do I take a photo? Camera is on cooldown. Did I already take a photo? And if I crouch right click with the camera, we have filters, so we can do different things. Do black and white. Okay, that's cool. But most importantly, we can upload an image. But I think to be able to do any of that, I first need to make the picture frames. Do I need paper? Was it paper I needed? I mean, we've got power tokens we don't need anymore. Maybe this will work. So we'll have paper in our inventory, and now... Oh, there you go. That took a picture. Aha! Oh, that's cool. So we can have a little look at our pictures. So now what we need is image frames. And we can make 10 of these. Guess that's how much leather we've got. I just gave Stam a selfie. And he wants to know how to place it on the wall. I'm coming, Stam. So, Stam, you just need to put a picture frame up there and then put your picture in that. There you go. I think we can, yeah, look, we can make the frames bigger. This is cool. Then I can put an image in there, and there we go. Now I'm advertising my ride at Stam's base. We'll just leave that there for him. We need to go hang up some posters over at the station. We've only got a few frames at the moment, so what I want to do is get them in this corridor down here, because it looks very bland. What in the world is going on down here? What is all this? Oh no! Murder? Who did it? Stam? Foxy? Mr. Beardstone? The new guy? Who knows?